What do you want to go with?
I worry about a Lycan pick. If they are thinking of a Lycan down the line, it's already countered by Mars because Arena's also an issue for the hero. They go to Pangolier instead, which gives him some team fight coming out from Lilgun. So this is sort of reminiscent, almost, of that draft from Talon from game 1, right? They had Bane, they had Pango. The good news here for Lilgun is that Spawn.496 doesn't have direct counters for these two supports, or Core in the Pangolier if they want to run it that way. They do have the flexibility of just having to roll up, going in the middle, getting the control off from there, and clearing out space for the Bane to actually get a good grip off. There are still good stuns here from Spawn.496 from every hero to stop a long grip, but the Pangolier is not going to be worrying about a Grimstroke or anything like that. So it's a little bit better for the Pango here. Lilgun also going to Queen of Pain, having another sort of highly mobile here to follow the momentum of that Broodmother.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of jump, they've got a lot of early presence. I think that's something for Spawn.496 has to be a bit worried about.
Oh, I've got to screenshot this one. This one, I really like this one. Well, what is it? What was that movie called? The Rocky Horror Show? What was it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the one that used to play at 2 a.m. in the morning every night? That's what you look. You looked fantastic, John. A beautiful blend of purple, black, and white. It was very, very nice. I did like that one. I didn't get a chance to screenshot it, John. I'm gonna have to look at the VOD later on. The very many faces of John X Pixel.
Someone's gonna clip, I'm sure. Nina, if he's out there, our great admin Nina, who got a lot of love last time.
Don't call him great.
He'll probably be able to.
No, he's not great.
He needs to feel good, Give the guy at least.
Well, he should be better at his job. He should be better at his job, John. If he wants to feel good, be good. No, I'm joking. I love you, Nina. People are going to think I'm terrible. I love Nina. Obviously, we're joking with Nina. Nobody get too upset.
It's like when Carl all chatted with Abeng, that entire thing. We're friends. We're friends. It might not seem like it. We're all good buddies. It's just banter.
There I was acting all surprised, but inside I loved it, John. I loved every second.
Oh, yes. You gotta love it when they're in the zone. And then at the end as well, the intro boys, man. That's great. That's
literally the reason I play SCA server with 100 ping every day. It's not because the game quality is that much higher, John. I just enjoy the all chat, the banter. That's what I need. I need to get mad at my opponents and my teammates most of the time, actually.
We need to bring back the Malding mic streams, man. I'm sure the viewers miss it. Still, going on with the draft here, Mike. Spawn.496, they've got the Dark Willow, so they've got the combo with a Mars. They've got a lot of AoE control here from Spawn.496. They've got the Terrorize, the Bedlam, the Brambles to play with the Mars. They've got the Torrent and Boat from the Kunkka. They have a lot of ways to keep that Queen of Pain down, and I think when it comes down to the team fight, Spawn.496 is leaning towards that way, and we saw that in the last series as well, Mike. That emphasis on the 5v5 seems to help out the team when they have more tools to use in the big breakout. So, despite Spawn.496 playing against that Brood, I think they've kind of set themselves up well to at least take these fights and sort of just rely on the Kunkka to clear out those spider wings.
I think the Kunkka's more than enough. And that being said, it is still Lilgun, and Spawn.496 again have been having a very rough time, so it's easy for me to say that, hero matchup wise, but to be able to pull it off, a bit of a different story. That being said, it's not necessarily like you're relying on the Broodmother to just run the draft completely, right? Like, you still have 4 other heroes to worry about. If you can make a bit of space, Brood does tend to catch up quite fast, and you've always got that issue of the split push, and now they've got a Terrorblade, so you called out the Lycan, John. We're not going to have a Lycan, but we have something almost just as good. We have a TB with Metamorphosis, and I'd say this is a very, very scary draft from Lilgun. I would point out the fact that I do feel like the team fight is a little bit lacking in terms of stuns and just lockdown, but with the Pango, you get a nice Rolling Thunder off, you have a Blink Dagger up, that's all you need.
Yeah, that definitely is all you need. I mean, it should be enough, but it's all down to execution from Lilgun. Now, we have seen them execute really well, so this is a draft that plays at the tempo they love. And they've got the Brood, they've got the Terrorblade, a big win condition for Sanctity to play on the safe lane, and they can just kind of roll with that. I do worry about picking TB into Mars, because TB into Mars kind of feels awkward. We've seen that Arena ruin Terrorblade's use of Metamorphosis, kind of isolate him away from doing damage, so there is still counterplay from Spawn.496, and they do close out with the Brewmaster themselves. And is a Ghost Kunkka on the safe, so we'll have that core Kunkka on the pos 1, and Chao Bon Bon, or Bombi, is taking that Dark Willow on the 4. So, pretty straightforward. Exalearn is taking the mid-Mars, which we haven't seen for a while, but it looks like he is anticipating maybe playing up against it looks like he is going to be playing against 4-2-3, so he's ready for that. There's some good wave clear. As a melee hero, the Mars doesn't get pressured out too hard by a Brood. You can just kind of shove the Brood back with a God's Rebuke and the Spear, and you are fairly durable, so you don't need to worry about the Brood Mother just kind of outlasting you there. I think that does give a decent enough matchup for Spawn.496, but rather interesting drafts from both sides, Mike. We don't tend to see, the Brood Mother too often. You don't tend to see the Brewmaster too often as well. So should be a great back and forth with Lilgun and Spawn.496.
Oh, I can't wait to see it, John. Should be a very entertaining series. Of course, when I saw the Brewmaster come out, my mind automatically went to Ohio Brewmaster, because you and I, back in the day, we used to really enjoy that signature pick from Ohio. Not so much anymore, obviously, as he is playing support, but, it just brought back those fond memories. And speaking of fond memories, Jonathan, I believe you and Ohio used to promise each other beers all the time. It still just never happened. It never happened.
Never traveled. You promised the beers, then it latched on. I was promising him nasi lemak.
Right?
That
is
you
correct.
Hang on. Yeah. It's like, let's have some beer. So I reminded him again. It's like, yeah, sure, I'm still down for it. Then Ghost came in. He's like, Bojo. I was like, hey, we're not leaving you out. It's open for everyone. You can come down. Don't Bojo.
Well, what's Bojo, John? I don't
understand. Bojo is like, you didn't invite me. As an expression. It's like, you didn't invite me. And say, come on. But Ghost, you're down for it too. If everyone's down, we'll go down.
Would you say he got ghosted, Jonathan?
Clever, Mike. There you go. The chat reels. They heard you. 11 heard you. It's like, wife, that's clever, Mike.
My wife must be pregnant right now, Jonathan. I must be becoming a dad very, very soon. We'll get into a game number 1.
It's happy hour.
I've been dreaming Good luck, have fun's flying out. I had to get a really lame joke in, John, as well. You had one earlier on. You always get the lame joke time.
I have a lot of lame jokes, Mike, and it's... The sad thing is sometimes I don't even recognize those are lame jokes. I don't even recognize their jokes. I'm just that daft.
Half the time I have to point it out to you. Every time.
Exactly it. Yeah, it just flies over my head. I don't realize how dumb I am making these dumb jokes. Well, they just flow naturally, Mike.
Let me assure you, Jonathan, you are very, very dumb. In case you were doubting yourself, don't you worry, sir. You are correct.
Thank you, Mike.
It means a lot to me. No, don't do that. You need to find a way to give me trash back, John. Otherwise, the viewers, they keep thinking I'm bullying you, and I'm getting upset about it.
I like playing into it. It's like you call me dumb, I'll say, yeah, I am dumb. It's great. Thanks.
Oh.
That's my defense mechanism. You see, that's why I was bullied as a kid, because I would just let them, and for me, it wasn't even being funny. I was just, all right, I am dumb. Yeah, right, I'm fat. All right, I'm American.
All right, John, hold on.
I don't know how that was a bullying tactic, but yeah.
It's not a session with your psychiatrist, John. Calm down.
I don't mean it literally.
Psychiatrist Mike Lefine. It's the P. Michael, a psychiatrist. There you go. That's what you are now, Mike.
Believe it or not, John, once upon a time, I did want to become a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whatever you call it. I don't know what the difference is between the two, but I did want to become one once.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised. Can you imagine the first impression you'd make on people when they walk in and they see your majestic beard, your Giga Chad face? They must be like, oh, I'm gonna get fixed today.
It wouldn't have worked out very well, John. I'm not a very, I know, I'm a nice guy, but, I have limits too, John. I can't hear people complain non-stop. I mean, I realize everyone's got their different problems and stuff, but, you know how I am, Jonathan. I have to be the one complaining, otherwise it's not good enough.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got your own share of problems, Mike, which I'm sure most people would know, but it's quite the life you live, Mike. Quite the life you live.
Oh, they'll find out one day, Jonathan. Hopefully. So Sanctity bot lane, of course, going to be there with Ace 12, and we do have Red and the lovely... How did you pronounce that? Xiao Bon Bon. Which is Bonbi, but it's Xiao Bon Bon. Yeah. So Xiao Bon Bon and Red going to be up against Ace 12. And of course the lovely Sanctity. John, this laning phase, it does seem like it could be quite detrimental here for the TB, as you do have the Cinder Brew into the Brambles or whatever else you want to activate the Cinder Brew. Do you feel like Sanctity gets through this laning phase unscathed, or Spawn.496 they should have a big advantage?
It's an annoying lane for Sanctity to deal with, but I think Ace 12 is doing enough to kind of relieve that pressure. Look at his positioning to cut off Xiao Bon Bon, and again, going for that level 1 reflection to ensure that there's some zoning tools from the Terrorblade, ensures that the first 2 waves until he hits level 2 is pretty smooth. So I think there's enough for the Terrorblade to hold here. It's mainly down to Ace 12 to get that zoning off, but considering how the first wave went, the first two waves went, I'd say Sanctity's kind of set up to have a pretty even time here. There's still that threat from Xiaobonbon and Red, especially when they hit level 3. Once you have that Cinder Brew leveled up along with the Thunderclap, there's a lot of harassment you can dish out, but you do still have to respect that constant harassment output reflection here from the TV.
Of course, mid lane, you've got the Brood 423. He's rotated here to be up against Exilern, is I believe how you pronounced it. So the Mars vs Brood matchup. It does feel like it's going to be Mars favored. 423 right now doing just fine. Exilern just kind of ahead in terms of CS. But you're always going to have that God's Rebuke available and the Spear once you do have the Spiderlings up. 423, we'll see what he decides to do once he does hit that level 6 mark. He may just decide to just go to the jungle and just start farming there along with the mid lane. But in terms of laning matchup prior to those level 6 marks, John, is there anything we should know about with these two, or it's just going to be a very even kind of time?
It's very even. And you can see already when 423 runs up to try to harass out Exilern, he just spears back, and suddenly that entire time with insatiable hunger is gone. So there's back and forth play. I think there is a big advantage for 423 in terms of jungle control, though, as Mars isn't that flexible and can't really move into contest.
Yeah, they get Ohio down, the first blood to go the way of the Queen of Pain, as Ghost does at least get a bit of revenge, but you'll be more than happy with that trade as Lilgun. Ohio, the first one to drop on the map.
Nice pickup there for Spawn.496. They do manage to grab Kishka as well. So they're cleaning up quite a fair bit. I think this top lane's really important for Spawn.496 to kind of get that momentum going as well. Like, Ghost has to hit those early timings on that Kunkka to start, you know, snowballing away. 11, we've seen the offlane Quap a couple of times. He is going for the Shadow Strike Blink, but there's a lot of hold here from 496, especially once they get the X mark up on Ghost. So they can just chain stun, look for the kill opportunities, a lot of damage that can come out from Ghost as well with just the early Tidebringer. So I think even as a highly mobile Queen of Pain, you've got to watch yourself. And mass disconnects from Lilgun. Looks like a bit of an issue in the team house, as you would expect with Southeast Asian internet.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that, Jonathan. We could talk forever, I'm sure. Going back to your dinner date with your page, aka Japoy.
Oh.
You were trying to update me earlier on, John, but now that we're live to however many thousand people, I'd like you to go back and have that conversation. What's going on with the dinner date, John? What happened?
Look, we greeted each other Happy New Year. He was like, we should definitely do that dinner. I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah, I thought it was off because he just kind of, didn't mention it again. He's like, we should definitely do that. And we're like, oh, okay. How about January 2? He's like, all right. January 2 sounds good. Wow. I messaged him by January 2 or January the day before. Messaged him the day before. It's like, all right, so how are we doing it? He's like, oh, I've got scrims. They had scrims. So we couldn't meet up, but he said we should definitely still meet. My parents want to meet you because they know you. I'm like, that's so strange to me that people know me. I don't want to be known necessarily. No. I'm just a weird guy who talks about Dota.
Not just people, John. Japoy's parents want to get to know you. Very, very good. I'm glad that Japoy's parents take interest in Japoy. Is all I'm gonna say. I'm happy for you two as well, Jonathan. I hope you enjoy your dinner.
Yeah. They aren't enjoying the top lane, though. Good stuns out from Ohio, but it's pretty low here, Mike.
Well, Ace 12 bot lane, though, might just drop to the Cinder Brew, but no, he's going to be able to survive. Both side lanes are going kind of nuts right now, and it's going to be bot lane where it does happen. Sanctity is going to end up going down. Meanwhile, top lane, 11, barely able to blink away as Kishka just keeps going. He does find Ohio, and now wants to just try and go after Ghost. Can he get a disarm going? Well, he doesn't even have the lucky shot available, so Ghost will take him down, but now 11 will go back in after the Kunkka, but Ghost, he's hiding, waiting for that Tidebringer hit, and it's up in 3 seconds. In fact, never mind that, because Ohio, he'll TP back in, but he won't be within range to get an Earth Spike off. In the meantime, Red does end up finding Ace 12, and now Sanctity, he's trapped up in the tree line, but he wants to go for the chase onto Red. Rather, we'll have to leave them be as they do Shatter Realm and just walk out of there. Still, a pretty nice exchange across the map for Spawn.496. In fact, it may not be over yet, but no, it is.
The aggression's really ramping up for Spawn.496. It's down to that early timings they do have. Ghost isn't safe up top, though. Dropping low, but a good Hex from Ohio does hold him off. But the harassment out from both sides is insane. This is to the benefit of Spawn.496. You've killed off Sanctity already. He's having a pretty decent time finding CS, but that kill will offset his early timings into power treads, into whatever else he might want. And it's that damage spike for the Brewmaster.
bot lane. Red just chasing down Sanctity once again with the Shadow Realm flying out. Red just trying to keep up, but he's getting a little bit unlucky with that Drunken Brawler, so instead they'll go after Ace 12. He'll keep trying to fight, but the Curse Crown is going to fly in, and Sanctity runs right into it, but it won't matter. They can't capitalize. So Lilgun this time around, they'll be able to survive through the bot lane, but I've got to tell you, John, in terms of CS and just XP overall, Spawn.496, they do seem well and truly ahead in this bot lane.
Now they're getting a lot more out for Red. They managed to get another kill up top with Ghost once more, and it's down to that timing as well on the top lane, Mike. They've got level 3 Tidebringer. They've got double stuns on Ohio. They've got the X mark ready on Ghost. They can just lock in even something like the Quap and Pangolier, who are highly mobile, and just burst them down. So great laning starts for Spawn.496. Lilgun off to a much slower start. Their mid lane is probably the best lane coming out here from Lilgun. Level 6 already had by 423, so you can play with those Spiderlings. But as we mentioned, Mike, Spawn.496 has the tools to stop the Brood. They've got Arena to hold her in one spot. They've got the Tidebringer down the line. We've got to see how much 423 can bring out for the signature Brood in this game.
Ace 12 going to drop again. It's just that combination just so effective here from Red and Xiao Bon Bon. Of course, Sanctity, again, can't really do much about it on the TB. Just holds his meta for when he needs it to just farm up. But apart from that, he cannot save Ace 12 when he does get caught out like that. In the meantime, top lane, Kishka may be caught with the boat to fly in. Hex is out as well. They'll land a torrent, they'll land a double Earth Spike out, and Kishka's gone. 11 will be able to walk away, but in the meantime, Sanctity's been chased down again. Nightmare's out, but Red is not giving up. Sanctity, how fast can you run, sir? Ace 12, oh, that's a great body block out from Ace 12. Sanctity, does he get rooted? Not quite. The illusion will wear out, but he's still running, and he does make it out. In fact, he's going to turn now. Xiao Bon Bon may not be safe as they have the meta. They'll be able to go back in onto the Dark Willow, and Sanctity does pick up the kill. That is an excellent body block there from Ace 12. But Red, he might still be able to get Sanctity. He's not out of the woods yet. Red, he'll chase him down with the Flame Remnant. Here comes Red with the Storm Remnant to boot, and they will finally take him down. So in the end, I suppose Spawn.496, they still got what they came for.
To get everything they want, they even managed to force in the movement from 423. And we didn't really mention this last time, but I always forget that the Brewmaster is also a direct counter to Broodmother. Just because you've got the Electric Spirit, it has that Dispel on summons, it's 1,000 damage to the Spiderlings, like they just die.
Kishka. Yeah, I mean, look, Kishka's having a very rough time top lane. X-Out as well from Ghost just to hold him down, and man, Spawn.496. 3 to 10 so far, 1k net worth advantage. In fact, make that 2k now. But these guys, they're looking great thus far.
It looks like they've sorted a lot of those issues we were talking about in the back end. They're moving as a unit really well. They're playing together as a team really strongly. Their draft is excellent to counteract this Brood. And Lilgun, I mean, they're confident with this hero, but it just doesn't feel like we're getting that impact yet from 423. And a lot hinges on that Brood to get off to a running start, to force rotations out to one lane, to, you know, force the enemy team to just hyper-focus on one hero while your big core actually farms out. It's not happening yet. There's so much pressure on Sanctity's lane. He's still level 5. He is finding decent CS, but it's not amazing. And he's lagging behind across all the cores, bottom network right now across all of them. So a lot more catching up for Sanctity to do, and that space has to come out from somewhere.
Well, they're very patient on Lilgun thus far. Nothing really going right in terms of laning phase, though even the mid lane, while it has been close, hasn't really been favoring 423, and I suppose we could have expected that. Zexilern just kind of has the advantage in terms of hero matchup as they do try to move in. Arena was up, but they weren't within range to really land it safely. Bot lane, however, Fiend's Grip is going to fly out. Ace 12, already at that level 6 mark, is going to be able to help secure a kill onto Red.
Yeah, really strong pickup. Oh, they managed to blow Ohio up on the last tick as well. Spiderlings clearing out, so nice picks coming through from Lilgun. They're starting to hit that spike early on, and they're also starting to respond as a unit. They're protecting the lane of Sanctity, giving him the farm he needs. This is freeing up a lot of space for Ghost up top, though, Mike. Focusing in on that bot lane. And Ghost is already set to receive his own Armlet. It should be up and running. It's a lot more HP, a lot more damage every time he flicks that on with the Tidebringer. And that is something to worry about, because he can just rip through every time.
Boats to fly in. Kishka, he's had a very rough time, but he's going to be okay this time around. His mid lane looks like Exilern. He went for an arena round. The Broodmother almost taking his life away, but not quite as Ghost. He'll rotate, but he has no X available. So no way to lock down 4-2-3. Ace 12, he's way too fast. He'll just run out of vision, out of range of Spawn.496. So everything's going to be just fine here for Spawn.496 and for the side of Lilgun to boot. But 5-10 still in the favor of the Dire. Do you feel like there's a timing that needs to be hit by Lilgun? Like, is there a certain time in the game where they become very, very strong?
Orchid timing on 4-2-3, maybe a couple of BKBs early on as well. And probably around the 20-minute time for in-game time. That's when you kind of peak as the Broodmother. There is some scaling to be brought out, but that's what we have to see from Lilgun. Spawn.496 really do have that aggressive early lineup. At some point, they're going to have to sit back and try to build up a little bit more on Ghost. You know, the pause 1 Kunkka does take a few items to really get rolling, but I think they've managed to buy that initial space out for Ghost anyway. Like, I think the big issue right now for Lilgun is that their playmaking doesn't exist on the offlane. Like 11 as a Quap is really just there to dish damage. A lot of their setup has to come out from Kishka and from Ace 12. Again, we've seen the support do it before. We've seen it fall flat from Talon, so we've got to see that turnaround here from Lilgun with that control.
Mid lane, here we go. They've got the Kunkka with the Orchid out. He's been slowed up with the Fiend's Grip, but are they going to make it in time to save his life? Ohio, he gets the Hex off, and Ghost, he just takes all the Spiderlings out, all the gold for himself, but Ghost, he stuck around too long. He threw the boat out, but Kishka was there. Zhao Bon at least finding Ace 12. Marina down. They might find a Pango kill to boot, but they do lose their Pos 1 Kunkka. You've got to kind of debate whether that's really worthwhile for the side of Spawn.496.
It's not that worthwhile. I mean, sacrificing your Pos 1 for 2 support kills isn't the biggest. Lilgun's going to be very satisfied with that. They managed to get some good kills flowing for 4-2-3 as well on that Brood Mama. So start to build up. The Orchid time is right there. We talked about that aggressive time for Brood. With the Orchid, it's starting to pile up. And this is the moment where you can run up. You can just melt these supports. You can melt some of these softer cores. I say soft, but Kunkka is not that soft. And just take control. So Lilgun has to start playing aggressive now. Spawn.496 has to be ready to watch that pace. They need to maybe choose and pick their battles. You know, they can't afford to keep running up like this because key items still need to come out for their heroes.
The ball out. They've got the Brewmaster this time, but he's got help right behind. In fact, Learn, he's going to rush forward, trying to find Kishka without the arena, but looking for that angle for that spear, and he will find a very nice angle, in fact. Learn setting up another kill onto this Pangolier. Spawn.496, they'll protect Red on that Brewmaster. That'll be enough for them. They'll back right off.
Yeah, just go back to farming. For Spawn.496, taking these larger fights is a bit difficult. Hit and run ganks like that are really what you can hope for right now, because mainly they need a lot more, especially on the Brewmaster. Like, we need Red to have the Ags up, so you get that consistent primal split in the middle of a fight, and we're going to need a BKB on Ghost, so he's not just going to get run down by the Broodmother with the Orchid. Once you have those items up, that's when your typing starts to spike again for Spawn, so have to be a little bit more patient. They are making good use of clearing out these Spiderlings that are trying to go out and D-ward. They do manage to clear them out. And they're keeping that vision control aspect of the Broodmother in check. Split push isn't really coming out. The nuisance of the Brood isn't fully realized yet, and I think that is keeping Spawn.496 on a much more even pace here up against Lilgun.
Spawn.496, they have slowed down quite a lot. Just waiting for that Ags up on Red. They may get aggressive very, very soon. I mean, during that late game stage, you might not be confident enough to go against Sanctity on that Terrorblade. As mid lane looks like they have made a bit of a jump in. Sonic Wave out. Red, he's been targeted and he does end up dropping as 4-2-3 does get the kill. But now Learn with the arena out into the double boat. They'll get both 11 and 4-2-3 down. And Learn's not done yet. They'll chase down Ace 12. Ghost is on the front lines, but they don't have the lockdown. Won't matter though. 2 cores to the price of Red on the Brewmaster. Very well worth here for Spawn.496. They take the tier 1 mid tower. And they'll even be there in time to defend the bot tier 1.
Just great movements across the board from Spawn.496. It took a lot of spells from Lilgun to find that kill. They had to get the Orchid, they had to get the Sonic Wave off. A lot of their AoE burst was just committed onto one hero. And it's still a big kill. You're stalling out the Ags timing of Red. But that means they can re-engage here on Spawn.496 with the split. So they're going to go for that smoke play, Mike.
But they are. You've got to approach that triangle though, and it's not very easy, but Ohio, he does get an Observer Ward down. No vision over any heroes though. Sanctity, he'll be farming the Ancient stack, but Ohio, smoke broken. He is going to be found out though. Sanctity still trying to run. Lilgun gets a slow off. Can he find a spear? Not quite yet, Ohio though. He's breaking the gap and he does get the Hex off. That's the big target you wanted. They might get him in time, but no, the Nightmare. It's going to buy a bit of time and the Sunder comes out. Sanctity, he'll survive. Pops the meta. Onto red they go, but the Cyclone will be there. Meanwhile, 11 trying to go after Lilgun, but he'll just TP out in time. Instead, they'll be forced to go after Ohio. But Spawn.496, they barely miss out on finding the Sanctity kill, and they'll even lose red on that Brewmaster. Just a terrible set of events out, but a beautiful Nightmare from Ace 12.
They really played on the edge there for Lilgun, but great timing coming out, and now because of all those expended spells from Spawn.496, Lilgun get to go into the Roshan with that Metamorphosis. Not much time left, but you've got the Broodmother, you've got the Spiderling spawning up, so it shouldn't take too long to clear this out. Spawn.496 have to run in here if they want to contest fast.
Arena down. It's a nice arena too with the boat flying in, gonna connect with the two heroes, and they've got Kishka and Sanctity down already. Oh, it's just so much damage if it all ends up landing, and now 11, he's forced to blink away as they'll continue trying. Sonic Wave out, it's going to allow him to Zhao Bon, but 423, he's trapped up on the cliff right now, trying to fly out. The Tumbler's Toy onto the cliff of 423, he's still alive, but being X-Back now, the Broodmother's not safe, or maybe he is, just barely walking, but no, the spear to the backside, it does land onto 423. So Spawn.496, I mean, so far so good. They might be able to go back for the Roshan.
Yeah, they can go clean it up. It's less than half HP. They don't have the best damage, but they can still get it done. They've got tanky frontliners. They can take their time. They should be able to have Arena up by the time the Roshan's gone as well, so they can force another fight.
They forced it right now, John. Kishka speared off the high ground, but Lilgun doesn't care too much about it, or maybe he does. Bit of a mistake there from Lilgun. Maybe just assuming he'd have the damage with the God's Rebuke, but just not quite enough. And in fact, it seems like Spawn.496, they're going to leave the Roshan be.
Playing cautiously, I think they realize that with the Terror Blade up, it's not too far off from Metamorphosis. They've got the Rolling Thunder in such a tight spot, so there is turnaround potential while the arena's down. Spawn.496 will just opt to play it safe. You know, they don't necessarily need to rush up. It is still the strong point of Lilgun. Like, the lead of Spawn.496 isn't that big here, Mike. 2k, 10 to 18. It's sizable, but not big enough that you feel outright confident in every engagement. You have to respect some of that power from Lilgun as they're starting to peak here. BKB coming out next for 423. The Broodmother is going to be a lot harder to pin down. You might still be able to clear out the Broodlings, but she still hits hard as a hero.
Nightmare out there, baby. At least got a Dark Willow here. Bean's Grip going to be committed. Sanctity, he'll go for the kill, and that might open up the Roshan again. They do have the meta up. 423, he thinks about it, but maybe just not 100% confident with the arena both being available again. Just such a devastating combination from Spawn.496. Roshan will be left alone once again, as they do try to scout out but find nothing. So still a 1k net worth lead here for Spawn.496, but John, with their draft, do you still believe they can outscale Sanctity?
Yeah, it's all about the Terror Blade, and when it comes down to that, if you look at the lineup of Spawn.496, they don't have the best magical burst. They have good physical damage from a Kunkka, but it takes a little bit more to get that going, and that's the big concern. Like, Sanctity after that rough laning start is now number 3 net worth, right above the Broodmother, right below the Mars of Exilern. So the scaling is coming true here for Lilgun, and that's what they always do when they have this Broodmother for 423. They give Sanctity something that can carry the game, and it looks like that condition is being met, Mike. I think Spawn.496 has to be very cautious about that Terror Blade down the line.
They might have the Willow with the Sonic Wave, just barely connecting there from 11. Oh, Exilern, he tried so hard to get there in time with the God's Rebuke to take down those Spiderlings, but a very nice Sonic Wave from 11 just on the outer edge does connect. So Ghost, though, at least finding Ace 12, might be able to find a support pickup of his own, and it looks like he will. Nice little direct trade between these two teams. Nothing to write home about, but just very even between these two.
Yep, still keeping the kill board into their advantage for Spawn.496, but net worth, it's still not translating well. like a less than 1k lead. You worry about the scaling of Sanctity. You worry about 423 hitting that 20-minute spike that's lined up. It's excellent.
He does have the illusion rune, so luckily for him, he purges off the Orchid, and now 11's the one in trouble. In fact, the finger, it travels with the blink and does actually secure the kill. 11 probably won't be too happy about that one.
Oh yeah, that's one dramatic way to die. Blinking away, that could be a really good thing to put in SFM. But good plays from Spawn. Very fortunate they had illusion, otherwise I think that could have turned out the other way. And this should allow them to go back, try to retake control of the triangle. You can see here, Lilgun has so many wards in this area. They know this is where they've got to play. They know this is where Spawn.496 will want to keep forcing the issue. So they just keep an eye on the triangle, keep securing more space for Sanctity. He is just uncontested in the top lane. We've seen a couple of forays out from Spawn, but not enough to really shove him away.
Ghost is being a real nuisance now. With the boots of travel up, he just continues to roam the map so efficiently. Gets another kill onto the Pango. However, top lane, who have they found? It's going to be Ohio. So another support trade going on across the map. It's not going to amount to much. Neither team going to try for the Roshan or any towers. Still just being very patient between these two. And Red, surprisingly enough, throughout all this time, still has not got the Ags up. Perhaps that's what Spawn.496 has been waiting for, but it has been quite a bit of time since he's had the point booster and the Ogre Axe. Or rather, the Ogre Claw. No, it was the
been
Axe,
slow
never mind.
going. Yeah, it's been slow going because he's been forced to join in a lot of those earlier fights, and they've been surrendering a lot of that farm as well towards the side of Ghost instead. They want to get this Kunkka up to snuff very early on. But that Silver Edge down the line, you could see the AC, you could see the Ag Shard, so a lot of utility that can come through, and that needs heavy investment. So he's had to take the backseat. That has given more time as well for 43 to hit his spikes. The BKB is up, 22 minutes in, along with the Orchid. Broodmother is now pretty much at peak form. This is when things can get really hairy up against the Spider Mike.
Here we go, Excellent again with a great blink in, but the spear, it's not going to land, so Ace 12, he's been X'd up, he's going to be fine, no torrent to follow up. In fact, now the Nightmare just taking so much time to kill off this Bane, but there is no helping coming. Regardless of how much space Ace 12 just bought, nobody wants to force the team fight from Lilgun. And Spawn.496, they finally feel confident enough to go into that Roshan pit, and it was literally just the Aghanim's time. Red just picks it up, and now they want to go for that Roshan.
They've got the double split in play now, so they can easily just take control and move these team fights. The side of Lilgun's a bit too split up to contest. They are going for the mid-tier 1. But their push isn't that fast. They are having 423 join in, but it looks like that's going to align perfectly with a Roche timing here, and Spawn.496 can look for the fight here.
Oh, they might try to fight now. Spawn.496, they'll make the jump in, but it's just for the Spiderlings. Roshan, again, just a very low HP, just about 3k, but it's not been finished yet. Still anyone's Roshan to take. And this time, Lilgun, they'll position, ready to go. Of course, they never ended up finishing off that tier 1 tower, but they do stop the Roshan, and that's what's more important right now for the side of Lilgun. Spawn.496, it seems like they're more than happy to just leave it be. I mean, there's just so much vision around the Roshan pit right now. Just wards everywhere, along with the spiders. It seems like both teams are well aware that they'll be able to just jump in whenever, but Ohio, he's been caught out on that line. XE Learn, they're going to jump in. Sanctity, nice BKB timing, does not get stunned up, but 11 does, and that'll be a quap gone. Sanctity now needs a way out. He'll just BKB TP out of there, immediately leaving Ace 12 behind. And as soon as they lost that quap, they were not interested in the team fight any longer. And Spawn.496 now can definitely go for this Roshan.
Got all the tools they need. They wouldn't have Arena or the boat for the team fight follow-up, but doesn't look like Lilgun's in set to go fight. They have the roll from the Pangolier, but it's basically going to be him trying to look for that angle, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to find it. At least the spiders are scouting out here.
He's trying, and he might just make it. No, he's half a second too late. Had he had a Blink Dagger up, he probably would have actually made that in time. At the very least, Kishka, he's not going to die for that. That's one big positive for the Pango. But they still are 1 Aegis behind now and 1k behind, at least for Lilgun. This game just remains so even between the two, which I think most people would have really not expected.
Yeah. Sanctity though, down bot.
Caught out, terrorized, it's gonna land. BKB was not available. It's still on cooldown, so Ghost, he's gonna throw the boat in, and Sanctity, he has no way to survive. Meanwhile, Ohio, he has dropped across the map, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, pause 1 for a support trade, you always take that as Spawn.496.
Yeah, they're playing really well now. They're starting to shut down that progression on Sanctity. He's lagging behind by 2k in comparison to Arkunka. Silver Edge not too far off as well for Ghost, so his big damage spike is coming through, Mike. And we haven't even seen the full power of the Primal Split double charge yet from Red. They haven't even had a prolonged fight where that was necessary, so there's still a lot of tools for Spawn.496 to fall back to. And there's a lot of scaling left in Ghost at this point in the game. It's not like we're at the 50-minute mark where you start to question how much a Kunkka can do against Terrorblade. And even then, again, I remind you of the utility of Kunkka, Mike. The Ag Shard down the line on top of his right-click items with the AC and Silver Edge. There is still scaling left for Spawn.496. It's all about being disruptive in these teamfights.
And it is.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Ghost looking for a pick-off again, 11. He's had a rough time with the Kunkka, and he blinked right into him. There's the X out. BKB gonna be forced here by 11. That's gonna allow him to get out, but now no BKB available for the next 70 seconds. Does mean Lilgun will have to be very cautious. It's 11. He's not necessarily out of the woods yet. Still, Bon does find Ace 12. They rotate across the map and go for the Bane kill instead. In fact, he does get rooted up. Spear back. 4-2-3. He's going to try and help, but the finger's already out. Ohio just gets rid of him, but Sanctity now with Kishka. They'll try to force the fight. Ohio's already gone. Sonic Wave there. Lilgun is somehow still alive on the high ground. He got pushed up, but it won't matter. 11, meanwhile, does end up going down on the quap, and now the boat to fly in. They've got the Pango. Kishka still trying, still alive somehow with the roll up, but he finally ends up dropping his Lilgun. Is now on the run, but 4-2-3 will chase him down. Does take down the Mars, but now the X-Pac has found the Broodmother. Meanwhile, Sanctity will try to get started onto Ghost with the damage output. It's gonna be there. The Aegis is down, while 4-2-3, he's still alive, stealing up through the Brewmaster. But now Ghost, he is back on the Kunkka, and that means Sanctity does have to leave. He tries to go after Zhao Bon, but it's not gonna be enough. In fact, never mind, it will be. He does get the kill. Now with the Sunder out and the Fiend's Grip, they'll hold down the Kunkka. Maybe they've got him. 4-4-9-6, they're trying to survive, but Ghost is down now. Sanctity against the world, but the world is losing. And Sanctity, he'll just keep going onto Red, but there's no way to cancel the TP. So Sanctity, the Giga Chad, he just mans up, and somehow, John, it ends up working out in the favor of Lilgun.
It worked out in the end. It was a hell of a back and forth with Spawn.496. Just such a prolonged fight. But in the end, great use of the BKBs coming out from Lilgun. Very well timed out from 4-2-3 to extend his life there. And he just played tag with the insatiable hunger. They reeled back some of that lead, and it's all down to the fact that they're getting good rolls out now from Kishka with that blink. He's just setting up for the team.
Speaking of rolls, John, Ohio, he's been caught out in a very awkward situation now as he's just kind of stuck. Kishka, though, well, he's in the awkward situation at this point as he's completely surrounded, no help around him. Ohio, you'll happily watch Kishka die very slowly but surely. Red, well, he says it all, John. It's a bit of a sad trombone moment.
He tried, and we were just complimenting him as well and getting the rolls off. Still, sometimes you get a bit gun happy after a good fight, overextend. Good punishment coming out from Spawn.496. And they've still got the massive kill advantage, 19-30, but again, on net fort, it's just not big enough. It needs to be a lot bigger to deal with the Terrorblade. Sanctity with BKB is becoming tough to manage. He's going to get the Silver Edge next. That's going to be his damage spike. I think I'd like to see something like, say, the Terror Wave here with the Ags. I think that could be a good tool as well to give them some AoE control to help them manage some Spawn.496's counterfight potential. So we'll see if that's something he considers down the line. Looks like it might be the Satanic next. They run into Ohio though.
But they do. Easy Bane kill here for Spawn.496. You get the spear off. It'll be the Bane gone again. He does at least tank the gank there for Sanctity, so not too big of a deal here for Lilgun. Still a very close match. Net worth sitting at pretty much even. Still very slightly in the way of Spawn.496. But again, nothing to write home about here. And with their draft, it does feel like it's slowly dropping off. Especially with this Terrorblade. Sanctity just seemingly able to man up throughout a lot of damages. Well, who have they got there? Zhao Bon. He'll be just fine. It's only Sanctity there. So no real lockdown for the Dark Willow.
Dire
Ghost.
are scanning.
Oh, Ghost. Uh-oh. He's been stunned up.
Detection?
But there's no detection, ladies and gentlemen. No dust available. What does that remind you of, John?
A lot.
Yeah.
Sad games.
Yeah, Kishka. They were trying to go for the roll-up and does avoid the boat, and actually a very nice blink out. Red's still on the chase though, and he does get the Cinderbrew procced. It just won't matter. The Kishka, he does have the swashbuckle, but Exilon, that's a great arena down. Just the confidence to know exactly where he went, and he still does end up securing the kill onto the Pango.
And that's really big. They managed to force out a lot of spells. They buy out a lot of space on the map as well to keep building up. That is space as well for Sanctity though, so arguably the Terrorblade is getting a little bit more from all of that movement across the map, and so is 423. But it's still a nice set of pickups, although good scouting here from 423.
Here is Ace 12. Was the target, but now 423 just sending all the Spiderlings in for Ghost to just farm up as now they'll go onto the Bane. Ace4 trying to juke out the X-Pac, but it wasn't going to be there with the Nightmare. So they found one, and they may have even found another. A great spear out from XE Learn. They're onto the Broodmother with the roots out, locking him down on the high ground. They'll find a second kill. Spawn.496.
Dire's top tower is under
Well, just back at it. Seems like if they do get the initiation, they do just tend to take over. That's exactly what they do in that fight.
Yeah, just in control. They're moving as a unit. They're executing really well. Again, that is some space out for the TV, but speaking of, he's caught out.
That's the big one. Manta is going to purge off the Cursed Crown. Spear will not land. Sanctity is going to try and man up with the BKB out. He'll just TP. No need to stick around. No need to pop the meta. So once that BKB wears out, you are just so susceptible to the amount of control that they have on Spawn.496, so he'll just leave it be. Net worth is slowly just climbing up now for this Dire side. And naturally both teams are just going to be waiting for that next Roshan timing, which we will find out about in about 10 seconds.
It's going to be big. Both sides need to fight for that. Wouldn't want that free Ag Shard as well. We'll see who does get the upper hand here. You do have better control from Spawn.496 just taking over the triangle, having those forward wards as well to watch out smokes and movement. So they will have a good spot to be in. And they're very fortunate. Half a minute away from Roche. They're going for a smoke play on Spawn.496. If they find those kills, Mike, straight into Roche, that's great timing.
attack.
Lexi learn. Where are we going? Who are we aiming? Ace 12, gonna be scouted out again. He does break the smoke, but Exilon, he'll jump in with the spear around, but the Rolling Thunder is there. Kishka trying to put a stop to all this. They will be able to at least trade supports. So now Exilon, who are we aiming for now? They've gone towards the south, and Sanctity got caught out. Uh-oh. Well, 11, he'll be KB and run. So will Kishka. But John, what happened to Sanctity? In fact, never mind that, because Ohio, he's back in. They do end up finding the Queen of Pain in the end. 11 just sticking around a bit too long. And eventually the finger will fly out from Ohio. That'll be the T2 mid tower to drop.
Yeah, that is just ridiculous coming out from Spawn.496. They managed to split up that gank. I think the focus of Lilgun was just too split up. They go for the Dark Willow kill, cutting off Exilern, but they lose out on their Terrorblade. They're hanging around in the jungle, farming a bit forward without vision. And does get punished for it. Spawn.496, they're just going to go siege high ground. And I mean, this is really early considering the fact that they could play it safe, but they know they've got the advantage. Even if that Terrorblade respawns, what's he really going to do without the team fight behind him?
Very, very true.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
So far, so good. Spawn.496. One racks down.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That top T2 tower now. Don't forget, Roshan did spawn quite a while ago, but just they have not scattered it out yet. They may go have a look now. I mean, Lilgun, they should be able to get there in time to try and counter out this Roshan play. If it does get started, and Ohio, he will double check and does see it. I believe there might be just an immediate smoke here from Lilgun. So they must assume the Roshan has begun. Though it hasn't. Believe it or not, they'll go for another counter smoke here. Spawn.496. Trying to catch them off guard. 11. Oh no, the arena's down. Ohio gets an immediate hex out. They're trying to save this Queen of Pain with a Nightmare, and it might just be enough. He gets his BKB off in time as Sanctity gets right to work, and a big Sonic Wave out. 11. Just trying to turn this team fight, but they're on to the Terrorblade. Can they get the job done? Exilern, he will still survive with the lifesteal. He's still going. Sanctity getting torrented up. He's just being controlled this whole team fight, but now the BKB comes out. Now he can stand there and fight. Onto the Conquer they go. Ghost. He will drop. 423 still going to boot with the lifesteal. He may be able to make it all the way, or maybe not. He's still trying. Ace 12 will save with the Nightmare, and now Red. He is the only man left, but not for long. As he tries to run. It looks like one Bruling might make it. But they've got him. They got him surrounded. It just won't matter. They don't have the TP cancel. But Lilgun, they've got something better, John. They've got a Roshan.
That's big. There's still a big timing here for Spawn.496. They've got the refresh on hand, so they could look to fight, but they need Ghost around. He has no buyback. So Roshan number 2 is going to go the way of Sanctity, and they might find a few kills as well if they overextend here on Spawn.496.
It could be the turning point now as the Rolling Thunder. Well, don't even need it. Ace 12, he's gone, but now the Rolling Thunder comes through. Onto 2 heroes. Ohio almost dropping, but not quite. Spiderlings are out. 423 now. He's the one in danger. He'll still try to man fight. As Sanctity, he'll do the same. Onto Exilern in the arena. Exilern, he's out of there for now. Just trying to get out with the Spawn Spiderlings. It's not quite enough yet. The Armlet toggle's just keeping him alive as they'll turn back in onto Red. Try for the Brewmaster instead, but he's just got infinite primal splits to use. So back onto 423 they go with the Bedlam. They'll take him down. Sanctity, it's him against the world once again. We've seen this one before. In fact, Kishka, he'll rejoin the team fight. Back on Arena now 11. He'll reinitiate onto Zhao Bon as Exilern. He's thinking about jumping back in, looking for that spear opportunity, but he's going to wait out the BKBs. So Zhao Bon will drop. Who won that team fight, John?
That's a toughie. I think in the end you could call that a win for Spawn.496 as they did kill off 2 cores, sacrificing their 2 supports. That was a buyback and dieback on their Dark Willow though, along with, just losing the line in general kind of sets them back. But it's a tiny win for Spawn. They don't find the big kills they really want. They want to take that Aegis out from Sanctity. They're having damage issues now, which is where, maybe this pause one tie just doesn't scale as well in terms of damage output, especially in comparison to a Terrorblade. This is when we need to see a little bit more coming out from Ghost. He is going for the Satanic Nexus sustain. They do catch out 11 as well, but no follow-up for that Hex.
11 still having a look around here for Ohio, but looks like he has successfully hit himself. Is now a nice Observer Ward. Dropped 11. No, not like this. Blinking right into Ghost. Oh, that's a great Nightmare from Ace 12, but it's not going to be enough. Ghost even popping his own BKB just in case. As Ace 12 now, he'll be the secondary target. He'll try and just survive, but he cannot. As Sanctity, he tried to Sunder. It was not enough either, though. He's trapped in the arena now. They do at least get Ohio, but that's about all they're going to get. That'll be pretty much a buyback and meta wasted here for Lilgun. Spawn.496. They should be okay with that.
It's a pretty great take from Spawn.496. Again, widening their lead here just a bit more at 7k. They still have an issue with this Terrorblade. Once Sanctity picks up that Satanic of his own, I just don't know if you have the burst damage to deal with him. Sure, it's really annoying for Sanctity playing into the Brewmaster, playing into all the control, all the stuns they have on Spawn.496. That Brew is key here. Red has to get a good split. Red has to constantly use that Cyclone on the TB while that Metamorphosis is running, to kind of give Spawn.496 that opening shot. It's a lot of pressure on the Brewmaster. He has been delivering quite well, though. I think Red's done a fantastic job of just ensuring that they've got the control there. And Lilgun still have tools to play with, but it does feel like we're starting to hit the end point of where the Broodmother can get. We need to kind of see a shift towards 11 now in farm as well. Like, our Quap is severely underfarmed, especially in comparison to our comparative Brewmaster. Like, you are quite a bit ahead on Red. I think 11's going to need some space of his own to start itemizing, to start helping out the team with some utility here.
Still just such a back and forth. I mean, the Aegis is still up on Sanctity. They may want to try and make some use of it. The minute and a half left remaining. Lilgun just seeming a little bit lost right now, with Spawn.496 just sticking to their own game plan. They're going to have 3 charges of Primal Split very, very soon on red, and that's going to be very problematic for the next team fight. At least for Lilgun. They're going to move in though. They see the Brewmaster. They'll try with the Rolling Thunder. They'll lock him down, but for how long? Red, he'll get orchided now, but he just has so many ways of purging that off, so he'll just keep buying more and more time until this Rolling Thunder is gone. And now Ghost, he might reinitiate with the Curse Crown out. Sanctity, he'll get rooted up, and now the Spear is there. The Nightmare not quite enough yet. He's still stunned up as Red. He'll move in. They've still got the TB. Where's the help? It's not incoming yet, but Sanctity, he is still alive. Still life stealing, almost baiting them in as the boat's gonna fly out. Can they time it? Not quite. Tornado's still going. Sanctity, though, is still dropping and does end up losing his first life. But he has one more. Hex is out immediately there from Ohio into the Terrorize. It won't land, but the stun is there. Nice Sonic Wave out, pushing them back with Sanctity. He's still gonna end up going down. He gets absolutely 0 off in the middle of this team fight. This Lilgun, they need to retreat ASAP. This is not the fight for them. But they won't have much of a choice in the matter. 3 heroes down without buyback.
I don't understand. 4-2-3 now?
Uh-oh. Wait, it looks like he's going to be okay, John. I think they just want to go straight for high ground. They don't really care for the spider. In fact, they even found 11.
The creep cut. Okay.
Oh, 11. Blink right in. Well, guess who's there? It's Learn. With the very, very long Earth Spike there from Ohio. That'll be 11 gone.
Man, I don't understand that last fight. Sanctity had his BKB for both lives. He never got it off. He never opted to use it. There's a window there where you could spam it and dodge on your second life, and he just held off for too long. He had windows where he was just right-clicking with Satanic. That is such a massive mistake that opens up this game completely now for Spawn.496 onto the high ground. They could go for the Megas, they could go for Tier 4s if they want to. They've got everything to deal with it, and there's nothing to stop them. Like, a lone Broodmother is just not enough here.
Well, I agree with you, John. I was kind of wondering mid-play-by-play when the BKB was coming in. It's a very strange situation. I'm not sure if Ohio was really that quick on the fingers. See, it was a very quick Hex from Ohio, but I do tend to agree with you, John. I do feel like that BKB probably should have been popped at some point. Still, Spawn.496, they won't complain. Into the top T3 tower they go. They are very close to taking this game number 1 against Lilgun. The final lane of barracks now. Lilgun, how do you defend? Learn, he won't land the spear. They do Fiend Grip though. They've got Ghost on the Kunka. He immediately gets bursted down with the meta pop by Sanctity as they look for more now. But they're trapped in that arena, just waiting for the walls to break down. They'll move back in onto Red after the Brewmaster. But it looks like Red should ultimately be okay. So he got the Storm Panda out. As they do get 1 kill onto Ghost. And they do successfully defend the top lane of barracks. But that's about all they have left on Lilgun.
Yeah, and you can see how dire this game is now for Lilgun. They're going for the Divine Rapier next in Sam. Excuse me. They know they need damage on the Terrorblade. It's an all-in play. I just worry because Sanctity's been picked off so many times. Spawn.496 has been very focused on just keeping that Terrorblade down. And they've done a great job
Alright, John.
making this game tough for the TV.
I can hear you dying, John. Go drink some water. I'll take over from here as Xiao Bonbon is going to avoid the gank here as Kishka. Rolling Thunder, it's going to connect. They've got Red. Now, this is the target you want to take down if you can, but he's just so tanky, and it's going to take quite a while. So many stuns out, though. Kishka still going. Red, there's your aim disc proc. He gets the Primal Split off, but can he get the Brewlings out of there? Because Sanctity, he is right to work with the right clicks out. They'll get rid of 2, and now the Fiend's Grip. They are not playing around. Not this time, Red. He will drop, but he does have buyback if they need it.
Yeah, it's a great team fight for Lilgun. They can look to maybe force a couple of those buybacks. No rush to play for though, Mike, as it's still about 2 minutes away. So, unfortunate for Lilgun that they can't really transition to bigger objectives, but they're keeping themselves in the game. They're relieving some of that pressure. They're stopping any sort of split push that can go on. When you think now, for the side of Lilgun, it's all about riding into that Divine Rapier territory, protecting Sanctity. Just keep your Terrorblade safe. You're going to have a great time afterwards. I'd say a casual Lotus Orb right now would be of massive help. Like, we're seeing a Lincoln's being built up here by 11, so at least you can maybe stop one of those spells, but I'd say a straight up Lotus Orb would just give Sanctity a much, much better game and stand in the middle here.
Nice little torrent there from Ghost. Root up on Sanctity and onto the Quap, but Not too confident to move in. There is meta up in about 10 seconds, so you do have to be very wary of that. It's not like Sanctity's been lacking damage, it's just the control in the team fight just not really going their way.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Spawn.496, they still have this game in their hands. 2 racks is up, 10k net worth advantage. This is exactly where you want to be as this dire side, and now they smoke up. Roshan's still about 30 seconds away, but they will find a rogue ace 12 if they do make their way over. It's not a bad way to start. The Ghost, he'll go for the outpost instead as Ohio does reveal himself with the mana drain. He'll give ace 12 all the info he needs to back off. His ward will get dewarded, unfortunately, so that vision for the Roshan is not going to be there now. Though neither team really has vision over Roshan or the area around it. It's a very even kind of fight in terms of vision. And there he is. Speak of the devil, he shall appear. Roshan is now here with a refresher shard of all things. So if you wanted even more primal split charges on the side of Spawn.496, John, this is the Roshan for them.
Yep, they need to really put their bodies forward there. Really big one for Lilgun too, because the refresh metamorphosis is going to be key to maximize that Aegis. Looks like Lilgun are going to go for a smoke wrapper. And again, fairly blind here. No vision on that dire side. Jungle, they are taking a long arc around as well. So kind of nebulous as to whether or not they find someone. And they know something's up because the bot lane shoved in, the mid lane shoved in. Spawn.496 knows that there should be a movement here to kind of fight that Roche.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's been very good on this Mars so far, and he sees Sanctity, but the whole team's there. Fiend's Grip out, they've locked him down, that's the Mars gone, but he'll buy back immediately. Right back into the team fight as they focus down Red. Primal splits out, Aeon disc proc, but he'll get another no. The stun is out in time, Red, he's trying. Sanctity, the spear comes out, XC learn. He found 2, and now he refreshes for another. He's got 2 down, they'll buy back. They need this Roshan as 11. He will be the 3rd to drop. He has his own buyback, but he will not commit it. Not quite yet as Kishka. He'll be the 4th to go down for Lilgun. XC learn with that buyback, turning the team fight around. Do they want to go again?
Why not? There's nothing stopping them from Lilgun now. They know this is probably the last fight for Lilgun, and they are still in a really good position to fight. Lilgun are going to try to sneak that Roche away. So they're inside, at least playing with illusions, forcing a response out, but they've got to split again on Red. This is a scary fight for Lilgun if they don't find the angle.
2 more charges. Very, very balanced here on Red. They will pop the smoke. The Fiend's Grip was there. Who have they got? It looks like they got Ghost on the Kunkka, locking him down.
Oh.
Sanctity, he can't quite get the job done. So Ghost, no, they can. The Orchid was enough, but he'll buy back. Right back into this Roshan fight as they've got Sanctity controlled up at XE Learn. He can't afford to die, so he'll TP out in time. Meanwhile, 4-2-3, he's dropping low on the Broodmother, but he's on the high ground, and he's going to be able to survive through this as they go right back into the Roshan pit. Sanctity's going to try and rush this. I'm not sure if this is going to work out for him, as now Spawn.496, they show back up. Ghost and Red, they're around ready to fight. Instead, they'll go back for the Roshan now. Keep in mind, John, they only have 1 more charge of the Primal Split unless they get this Roshan. And they may just, as it does go down, pick up those items, boys. And they've got them.
Radiant's middle
Oh
tower
boy,
is under
this is
attack.
now really dicey for
Radiant's
Lilgun.
middle tower
They only have
is
1
falling.
set of racks standing. Their Ancient's actually exposed from all that pushing in from the lane smite. So 1 little fight and the Ancient could just go.
They've got Sanctity. Sanctity, he has his BKB and Satanic. Nightmare gonna save for now, but the spear is out. Sonic Wave trying to force them back. He's still being controlled and he can't do it. He can't sunder in time. 11 now. He's trapped between a rock and a hard place once again, and he's gone. It looks like it's all Spawn.496 for game number 1 as they will rush for the Ancient, and that's it. Lilgun, they'll call it. Game 1, they just could not find their footing. Obviously, some very awkward mistakes happening here from a few players here on Lilgun, and that all allows Spawn.496 to take the first game victory.
Yeah, outstanding play from Spawn.496. It felt like they really did their research here, Mike. You know, they allowed a Broodmother to come in on the first phase. They instantly picked the Kunkka before the Brood's out. And then they draft around that. They get Excel Learn that mid-Mars. He really made a lot of big plays there. They get Red a comfort pick on the Brewmaster offlane, as we've seen him do in the past iterations of Spawn.496. And they just ran in. I have to say, for Lilgun, they were kind of red. Because in that second phase of bans, it was TA, it was OD, It was all the big cores that Lilgun used as their backup to the Brood. And the Terrorblade still kind of worked, but you picked Terrorblade into Mars. So you had some issues already with just the arena. The early zoning arenas from XLR meant that Sanctity couldn't just turn it into Metamorphosis and right-click down because of the arena cutting off its attacks. It made it really tough. And again, it's that situation where your team fight on Lilgun, because you have this Quap offlane, you're reliant on a Pangolier and Bane to get grip and to get the rolls off. Now, the Pangolier did have a better time without having to worry about a Grimstroke, but that is still paltry team fight compared to the Conca, compared to the Mars with the arena, compared to Ohio with just his Earth Spike and Blink Hex. Like, there's a lot more that Spawn.496 could play on top of, and I think that's something Lilgun has to kind of figure out in the next game, because we had a really slow first series, Mike. You know, very few kills. We had 89 kills here, so It's a really aggressive game, and I think Lilgun has to be ready for that.
Well, I guess something's never changed with Spawn.496. I mean, the roster might change, but the aggression certainly hasn't. Still, we are going to head to a short 10-minute break, and of course, right after that break, we'll be back with game number 2 between Lilgun and Spawn.496.